everyone, it's Stephanie and welcome back to my channel. And today we're doing the It's Finally Fall book tag. I don't know who exactly created this tag, but I thought it would be a lot of fun since it is finally fall, and fall is one of my favorite seasons, the other one being winter because I'm so much more wanting the cooler weather. But I thought it would be a lot of fun. Nobody actually tagged me, but we're gonna do it anyways. I did film this morning, and as I was editing it, I don't know what was going on with my lighting. I had my ring light on, I had the windows open, but it just was like really grainy, so I had to redo this. So I'm quickly gonna go through this. Hopefully I'm not gonna have to edit too much, but there you have it. Down in the description down below, I will have all of the questions typed out for you in case you want to do this tag, because I'm going to tell you right now, I'm tagging all of you. I'm not going to tag specific people, but if you want to do this tag and you want to answer these questions, I say do it. So, first question. In fall, the air is crisp and clear. Name a book with a vivid setting. The first book that comes to mind when I think of a vivid setting is The Casket Girls by Alice Arden. This is so atmospheric, and I know it's a chunker of a book, like it's over 600 pages, I think. It is, oh no, almost. It's 560 pages, but it's so atmospheric, it's so vivid with the setting, which is down in New Orleans, and it deals with witches and vampires and takes place in New Orleans, and it's just like the perfect fall read, and I highly suggest people reading this. I know it takes some people longer than others just because of the chunkiness of the book, and it is slightly slow in the beginning, but I promise you by the time that you're done with it, you're not going to regret it. It's so good. I just picked up the second book recently, so I'm hoping to read that in October, and read it. I love it. Question 2. Nature is beautiful but also dying. Name a book that is beautifully written but also deals with a heavy topic like loss or grief. Now, I haven't read a whole lot of books recently where the main focus of the book is loss or grief. Every book that I've read, there is some sort of loss or grief in there, just as like a little plot twist, but it's not the focus of the entire book. So the first thing that comes to mind when I think of a book that is like solely focused on someone's grief is Love and Gelato by Jenna Evans Welch. And this book is so, it's like throwing off the white balance. This book is so well written and so beautifully written, and it deals with this, I think she's 16 or 18. I don't know, she's a teenager. She deals with her mother dying, and she has one of her mother's journals from when she was pregnant with her, and she's trying to find out more about her dad and everything, and she goes on this journey of self-discovery through her mother's journals, and it's such a beautiful story. I highly recommend reading this book. Question 3. Fall is back to school season. Share a nonfiction book that taught you something new. So I don't typically read nonfiction books unless it's for school or I'm doing research on my own writing. I like history, but I only like to read history stuff when I'm doing like some research, which I mean, there's a whole bunch of different books on that shelf over there dealing with like, I think I have like Eastern European history, so all about like Poland, Romania, um, the Slavic nations. Um, that's a super interesting book, but that's like from, when I was in college. So recently, the only nonfiction books that I've been reading are to hone in on my writing craft. So I'm just going to choose the one that I'm currently reading for this month, and that is Save the Cat Writes a Novel by Jessica Brody. This is my third reread of this book, and it's still teaching me new things. This is definitely one of my favorite writing craft books, so if you're a writer and you haven't read this one yet, I think you should at least give it a go. Question 4. In order to keep you warm, it's good to spend time with the people we love. Name a fictional family, household, or friend group that you'd like to be a part of. For this question, I have 2 recommendations. I would love to be part of the Bennett family because they are a big family, they're funny, they're quirky, and all around, I think they're really wholesome and warm-hearted. And then I'd also like to be a part of the Outlander clan. Now, granted, yes, I would want Jamie for my own, like for me, but Claire can have him. I'll find myself another Scottish boy, I guess. But anyways, they are always there for each other, whether they're blood related or not. This entire clan has each other's backs, and when one gets brought down, another picks them up. And I really like that dynamic of a family group or a friend group or any kind of group. You have to be dependable. I want people that I can depend on. I know I'm independent, but if I need help and I'm going to ask for help, I want to make sure that the people that I surround myself with will help me if I need it, and vice versa. So these are the 2 families / groups that I would like to be a part of. Question 5. The colorful leaves are piling up on the ground. Show us a pile of fall-colored spines. I haven't read all of these books, but here's some fall-colored spines. Question 6. Fall is the perfect time for storytelling by the fireside. Share a book wherein somebody is telling a story. So for the book that I chose for this question, I haven't finished it yet. I'm still listening to the audiobook for it, but the story is told so amazingly. It's as if you were reading a transcript for a documentary on VH1. And the stories that are being told through this documentary styled book is just fantastic, and I'm really enjoying it. And that's Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I haven't read the 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo yet, but I do have it on my shelf over there. And since I'm liking this one, I have a feeling I'm gonna like that one because I think it's told in the same kind of way, just with I think it's a celebrity rather than a rock star. But I'm really liking this one, and it's giving me total vibes of Stevie Nicks, and I love Stevie Nicks, and I highly recommend this one if you haven't picked it up yet. Question 7. The nights are getting darker. Share a dark, creepy read. Okay, so this one's not necessarily like super creepy, but it has creepy elements to it. It's also another one that has a really vivid setting, and that is The Diviners by Libba Bray. And yes, it's another chunker, and it's very atmospheric, very vivid, And there's this one character in this book that is super creepy, and they have like a creepy jingle with it, and it's like something along the lines of naughty John does his work till it's done. Nope, now I have to look it up. Okay, so I wrote it down in my old bullet journal from 2017, and the creepy jingle that would give me goosebumps goes, naughty John, does his work with his apron on, cuts your throat and takes your bones, sells them off for a couple of stones. And I read this via audiobook back in 2017. And the narrator who narrates The Diviners, I believe her name is January Jones. She does an amazing job with the narration, that when that creepy jingle, because it comes up multiple times within this book, when that creepy jingle comes on and January is talking about it, literal goosebumps would form on my skin. It's like, this deals with like ghosts and demons and murders, and it takes place in the 1920s. And if you have not read this and you want some sort of ghosts, demons, 1920s historical fiction, you need to read this. It's fantastic. Question 8. The days are getting colder. Name a short, heartwarming read that could warm up somebody's cold and rainy day. So this is on the shorter end. It's like, I think it's just over 300 pages. It's like 320 something pages. And that is Tell Me Three Things by Julie Buxbaum. This book is so cute. It's in the same kind of realm as Simon versus the Homo sapiens Agenda, which is also an excellent read. It's not only a shorter book, but it's also told, like, it's half told through emails and IMs, so it makes it even shorter to get through. It's a super quick read. It was one of my favorites in, I think, 2017. And I highly recommend this one if you haven't read it. I actually want to reread this one soon. Question 9. Fall returns every year. Name an old favorite that you'd like to return to soon. Well, I just told you about Tell Me Three Things, but there are 2 other books that I would really love to return to soon. The first one being Falling Kingdoms by Morgan Rhodes. This series is so great. The Falling Kingdom series is a young adult fantasy, and it's told through, I believe, 4 perspectives, and it's so much fun. I loved this series. I want to reread this series. This series made Morgan Rhodes an auto-buy author for me. I am waiting for more books written by her. If you haven't read this one yet and you like young adult fantasy and maybe even like Throne of Glass, you'll like this one. It's so good. I actually prefer this series over Throne of Glass, but I also have, an unpopular opinion when it comes to Sarah J. Maas books. I'm just not the greatest fan of them, at least not the later ones. That's a story for a different day, and I know I'll probably get a lot of heat for it, but it is what it is. But Falling Kingdoms is perfection. I loved this series. I want to reread it. I'll probably do that this winter. The second book that I would like to reread is Truthwitch by Susan Dennard. I not only want to reread this because I really enjoyed this first one, but also because I want to catch up on the rest of the series that's currently published out. I think there's 2 more books that she has left in this series that are unpublished. I think Witch Shadow is coming out in February, and then I'm assuming the 5th book would be out the following February, so February 2022 maybe. I don't know, don't quote me. But Susan Dennard's world building and writing in Truthwitch is just, it's so great. It's easy to get into because it's young adult fantasy. It's quick paced, but there's a lot of like high stakes, and I really, really enjoyed this story. So I really want to reread this one. And question 10. Fall is the perfect time for cozy reading nights. Share your favorite cozy reading accessories. Well, obviously I'm going to need some kind of coffee or tea or hot chocolate because duh. And you can't have a cozy reading night without a cozy blanket, particularly maybe a bookish one. But yeah, so yeah, that's what I have for the fall book tag. I'm so happy that it's finally fall, even though today it is 80 degrees where I'm at. I am waiting for the 60s to come back. It was in the 60s last week, and then it turns fall and it goes back to summer weather. I don't understand Chicago. I don't. But anyways, if you liked this video, give it a big thumbs up. I'd really appreciate it. It does help. And if you want to subscribe to the channel, you can. I would deeply appreciate you and love you forever. Leave some comments down below. Let me know if you've read anything that I've recommended today. Let me know if you have any recommendations for me for fall. I'm all for all of the new recommendations. I mean, you can't have too many books. I don't think that's an actual problem. My husband would say otherwise, but whatever. It is what it is. So let me know what your favorite fallish books are. Fallish? What is this? Let me know what your favorite fall books are down below, and until next time, bye!